in the last video, we talked about the terms space, horizon line, foreground, middle ground, background, rhythm, and pattern, and how we can apply them to a work of art. So if you'd like a review of any of those terms, you can always go back and watch the first video. So now I'm going to be showing you how we can create a winter landscape scene that has a sense of space and also rhythm. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to start out by drawing our foreground. So I'm going to, in pencil, oh, and don't forget to write your name and class code on the back of this. You're going to lightly draw kind of a wavy line, so it's kind of like a snowy, hilly shape there. And then after you do that, you want to draw your horizon line. So you're going to do kind of another snowy, hilly line there. Now that we have our foreground, middle ground, and background, we can start adding our trees. So, like I said earlier, the trees that are closest to us are going to appear bigger because they're closer to the eye, so we're going to draw them bigger. Now another thing that creates a sense of space and depth is having your trees overlapping. And you'll notice that I drew nice and light when I did my hill so that I can easily go and erase. So it kind of gives the feeling that my trees are overlapping that line. And then also having these two overlap each other. So the way that I'm going to draw a tree is just, if you have trouble drawing it with the kind of zigzag lines like I did here, you can lightly draw a triangle first if you want. Okay, everyone can draw a triangle. And then you can draw zigzag lines. Now, if you have another way that you like to draw evergreen trees, that's fine too. I'm just showing for boys and girls who maybe don't know how to do it. And then what I can do is I can go in, erase this, erase my outside line, and now I just have my trees. So I'm going to draw a couple more trees here. Okay, overlapping. And so now I have my trees in the foreground. Now I want to do my trees in the middle ground. So these are very big, so maybe think about making them about half the size. Okay, remember that overlapping your trees, having part of the one tree covered by another, is another feeling that's going to give you that sense of depth. Okay, now I'm going to add my trees to my background. So these are going to be just slightly overlapping the horizon line. So they're nice and small. You also wouldn't see as much detail on them either because those appear to be all the way off in the background. So now that I have my foreground, middle ground, and background laid out, now I'm going to start to add my rhythm to my trees. So I already have a sense of rhythm by repeating the trees all over, but now I'm going to add some patterns. So if you're having trouble coming up with some patterns, or even not, these are just some great ideas. I made a sheet with some different types of patterns. Now, what I'd like you to do before you start adding your patterns is grab a Sharpie, and I'd like you to retrace the lines of your trees. So you do all your trees. And then I'd also like you to retrace the lines of your hills on your foreground and your background, like this. Now, after you do all of your trees, then you can just pick a pattern, some patterns that you like. Now, having a variety of pattern also makes it very interesting. So let's say, and then also having a variety of directions. So let's say I chose to do this one. I can have it diagonal, I can have it horizontal, any way that I want. Now you can go right to Sharpie with your pattern so we can move it along a little bit faster. But if you'd like to practice some of the patterns, you can always do that on a piece of scrap paper, because I know that sometimes it's a little intimidating to go right to Sharpie. So we can do all our patterns. Now, when you're done doing all of your patterns, you can move on to the part 2 video, where I'm just going to show you a couple painting techniques so that we can get some kind of blended colors on here.